So we're going to dive into it. And I wanted to ask you something that I've been searching for personally for an answer in regards to the Tai Chi 37 form. So my background, I learned Temple Tai Chi under Master Wei Sun Liao. And I know that him and Chen Man Ch'ing supposedly played some chess together back in the day. I've seen some pictures with them. Not sure how their relationship is or was, absolutely. But we also have a 37 form. And it's a little similar to some things I see inside of Chen Man Ch'ing's form, but not quite the same. So my question to you is, Chen Man Ch'ing's 37 form, is that a form that he created, or is that something that he picked up along the line of the Yang family Tai Chi system?
He created it.
He
Um,
created.
he's had studied with Yang Cheng Fu. He was a student who helped Master Yang teach. But when World War II broke out, he was teaching the nationalists and the soldiers to go fight the Japanese, and they needed something they could do quickly. And then
Mm,
from there, after the war, he saw, the tempo of life pick up, and he figured that it would be continue to be good for people in the Western hurry worry kind of mode. So he spread it to the West. Thank God for me. I'm very grateful.
absolutely, I bet you are. So, how long did you actually study with him?
I studied with him from 1970 until his passing in 1975, and I had 3 years of Tai Chi under one of his senior students first. And before that, I was doing judo, jujitsu, and karate. So it was kind of one step after the other, getting deeper in. And Professor taught me, he was gentle with me, but he showed me that my strength and my power and my other martial arts weren't going to help me at all in Tai Chi. And because he taught me that lesson, he started me on a quest for to become soft, to learn the technique, to become a neutralizer as well as a pusher. Uh,
Mm,
he made the rest of my life for me, really.
amazing. So his background was purely Tai Chi, according to your law. I know he had five excellences, but as far as the martial arts go, he was strictly Tai Chi.
As far as I know, some people used to say that he had some Nigong, and I know he was a doctor of Chinese medicine. He gave me medicine for my health, and the other excellences are painting, poetry, and calligraphy. And really, I think he was a master of a sixth, which is not credited in the Chinese with this title, Master of Five, but he was also a master, I think, of philosophy and ethics.
Mm, very interesting. Well, I wanted to ask one more question, and I'm going to kind of pass the mic off. Oftentimes out in the martial world, Tai Chi world, a common thought is that Tai Chi cannot be used in a martial art type of situation or self-defense or fighting. That it has to be combined with something else in order for it to work, like an add-on. Um, did you find any truth in that, or how do you feel about that in regards to Tai Chi as a type of fighting art?
The thing is this, um, I used it in, you could say, as an add-on, but the principles are 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 great. And one of the things, for example, people say, well, if I move slowly, if I ever get attacked in slow motion, I'll defend myself. But the idea is that moving slowly in any form of Tai Chi, you address tension and you release that tension. So then when you want to move quickly, you can move quickly. Also, to get power from the legs through the hips, In a lot of the karate, for example, that I see, people are throwing punches with their arms. But if you don't launch it from your legs through your hips, it's just not going to be as powerful. If you wanted to push or throw somebody, if you do it without your arms, you do it from the legs, from the hips, from the with the body, you can generate an awful lot more power. So I took the principles that I learned in Tai Chi and applied them to the judo, jujitsu, and karate that I was doing. And as a for example, in judo, I only ever made brown belt. I made black belts in the others, but in judo, I was a brown belt. And I used to play with other brown belts, and I couldn't, sometimes I throw them, sometimes they throw me. Black belts wiped the floor with me. But once I applied the principles of Tai Chi, my friends who were Nidans and Sandans, second and third degree black belts in judo, I could throw them. They could not throw me.
Mm. What principles were you specifically using a particular principle or principles in that regard? I'm
Yes.
trying to visualize that.
In Tai Chi, you learn how to what they we call take root or foothold. In judo, when somebody went to throw me, I did foothold. When they tried to pull me, I did reverse foothold. And
Mm.
when I went to throw them, also there's a lot of timing in Tai Chi. Instead of catching a foot, if I wanted to sweep it, that was down, I'd catch the foot on the way as the person is stepping and pick the guy off in midair, things like that. Also, Tai Chi helps you, push hands helps you become sensitive to people's balance. And so you learn to use those principles also in sport judo. You immediately feel where a person's weight is, and you immediately see lines to take them off that weight. Whereas in my judo training, we just used our strength and our power to just kind of rip them off the ground. In Tai Chi, I learned to touch people and feel their balance, and I learned to use that in judo.
Yeah, Phil, my question relates to forms, and I understand a lot of your background is in the Yang style. Is that correct?
My original background is Cheng Man Ch'ing. My second master, Zhang Lu Ping, taught me Yang long form, and it is different than Cheng Man Ch'ing's form. Cheng used the principles of Qigong and the principles of Chinese yoga, and it is a lot less actively martial in that you cannot see what's going on. But when I learned the Yang form, long form from Zhang Luping, who learned it from Fu Zhang Wen, it was very much more martial.
The short form, the Yang short form, or what maybe some people call the 24 form. Do you use or had you used that in your past for teaching?
No, I haven't. However, well, by the way, I had heard it called a synthetic because it takes something from many forms. But I had a student in Des Moines, Iowa, and she used to use it to get people used to Tai Chi, and then she would teach the Cheng Man Ch'ing form. I'm not the kind of a person that insists you do things my way. I offer the Cheng Man Ch'ing form, and people who don't want to take it, don't take it. People who want to take it, and then they have to teach it. So they have to figure out what works for them. And my student in Des Moines, Iowa, who unfortunately passed away, but she taught the 24 and then the Cheng Man Ch'ing form. I think that in any traditional form, there will be a lot more involved because, on the one hand, it's a traditional form, and on the other hand, you have a lot more time to learn it. So you learn a lot more of not to say the detail of the movements, but the things that go with the movements. For example, moving slowly, smoothly, staying at the same height, um, feeling the air, feeling the energy, getting your own chi out your fingers. And so that in all of the traditional styles, I think there's a lot more of that. But I believe, and this is just totally my opinion, it's not something I heard, that the synthetic forms lack these things because the people in the People's Republic who were in charge of it didn't really believe in qi and a lot of these other things. And so they just wanted to have something done to be healthy for people. And so the moves are kind of like Chinese yoga, but it's Chinese yoga without the added enrichment that you get if you study any traditional form.
So you're calling it synthetic because it's not originally from like a master like a Chen Man Ch'ing?
No, I'm calling it synthetic because I believe the people who made it took a piece from Yang, a piece from Sun, a piece from Wu, and so it's kind of cobbled together.
I wanted to ask you, you said that your second Tai Chi teacher, the one that you learned the long form from, the Yang style long form, you said that his approach or the form is more martial. How so?
Well, Fu Wen, he got it from Fu Wen, and it
Yeah,
just the punches go up and back as opposed to up and across. There's actually in the Cheng Man Ch'ing form they go up and across, but there's a hidden neutralization in this where you pick somebody's got their hand on your elbow and you pick it up and take it away.
right.
Um, in the in the pushes, there it's more direct line, whereas in Professor Chang's form, the elbows inscribe an arc, and so it gets chi in the hands. In the Yang long form, it's much more about pushing somebody.
Mm,
There were just a lot more of martial things there, and also for the push hands, he taught. Um, he taught around the New York and New Jersey area, among other places, and his push hands was a deal more vigorous.
yeah, I seen him bouncing some people on some videos, like slamming them into the mattress on the wall. I'm like, wow, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I seen some of that. I'm like, okay, this man's definitely got some power.
History wise, you had an organization called, was it Patients Tai Chi Association?
I still do. Um, it used to have. I used to have a school, an active school, but now I still have the corporation, and I wrote my book in the corporation, and I'm preparing another book. I'm doing final editing on my second book, which will also come out through the corporation. I picked the name Patience Tai Chi because I had a quality of patience that I wanted to grow in myself. And I figured if I called my school that, I would always remember why I was here, what I
Oh,
wanted to do in my own self personally.
Master Chen Ching ever expressed to you what his overall, I guess, purpose behind Tai Chi? What was his reason for passing it on to others or whatever? What was his mission?
You know, it's funny with all the push hands in martial arts. He said that he was giving us Tai Chi for our health, and he was giving us Chun Yun and the Great Learning for our ethics. It was all intended, his entire body of learning was intended to make us better human beings.
Yeah, he's. I look at some of his pictures and I can just see the energy that he's transmitting just from looking at the pictures. Like, wow, you know.
Then you are also a good chi and energy person because that's what I find I'm doing as the Tai Chi has developed the chi in me. And but most people can't do that.
That's true. I don't know why, but it seems to be missing in a lot of people.
Well, the thing is, they have that maybe they weren't taught the right way.
Mm,
Maybe they didn't take it seriously. I have people, I have one person who I made a teacher, and then I found out he practices it not every day, twice a day. And I was very disappointed in that. But a
mm,
lot of people don't. And if you want to get it, you got to do it.
that's true. That's very true.
The
Myself,
health benefits. Doing it every morning and night is also it's a good discipline, but when you start doing it, the energy comes out. It's like drawing candy. And so a lot of times I get up, I say, oh, I got to do Tai Chi. But by the time I get through what I call the Chi exercise, I'm good for the whole form. I'm just so up. I finally got started into my day. By the way, I have found, for what it's worth, that if you did not sleep well, the Tai Chi will help in the morning, will help you get sleepy and take a nap. If you did sleep well, it will leave you all charged up and ready for your day. In the evening, if you've had a good day, you do the round and it will help settle you down and let you prepare for sleep. If you've had a terrible day and enervating day, tense day, and you haven't really exhausted yourself, it will leave you all wired up. So to have a good day and to get a good night's sleep, and then the Tai Chi will aid you in that rhythm.
It kind of balances everything out regardless.
Yeah, yeah.
That was a question we had internally among us. When's the best time to practice Tai Chi? Or is there a correct time or better time?
Well,
So,
Professor used to say, do it in the morning and do it at night and do it in the evening. He said, do it in the morning first thing. But I have to admit, I can't. When I get up first thing, I got to brush my teeth, use the bathroom, then I do Tai Chi. And he said, last thing at night before bed, and that I can pretty much do. And he said also practice it in the middle of the day to perfect it. But he said if you're doing it morning and night, his image was the same way that the stars only move a set amount in the sky. You can't accumulate more benefit by doing it 100 times in a day. So you can improve at doing it by practicing it more often. But for the benefit, morning and night. And also, I would add, do the meditative chi round morning and night. If you want to perfect your form, do it, and you can do it then before the nighttime or after the morning time, or better yet, in the middle of the day. Um, and it will be a benefit. By the way,
And this is thinking about new people who are looking for Tai Chi. Uh, what advice would you give to a new person that's looking for Tai Chi? How do they get started? What route should they take? And what should they look for in regards to a good teacher?
you know, I have a chapter on that that's still in my book, though. If I get my new book, though, if I get enough pictures, it's going to get kicked out. But I would say don't study with somebody who calls himself a master, because
Mm.
he's probably not. You could study with somebody that other people call a master or other people call a sifu. That's fine. But don't get involved in the ego. Also, if somebody's trying to sign you up and won't quote you a price over the phone, that's simply a, a retail problem. Don't You have to know what you're signing up for, what it's going to cost, how long is your initial commitment. Um, let's see. I have a bunch of things. I will email them to you, and you could use them as any way you want. I used to give out an article on that at my when I taught in college. I was a teacher at Kingsborough Community College, a teacher of Tai Chi for a while. And I used to give that article out because the students came from all different places and they were going to go home. And I had several things that they should pay attention to and several things that they should not pay attention to. In the article that I had based this on, it said if they're teaching in a karate school, no good. Hey, I was teaching in a karate school. Look at the form. Oh, another thing, if somebody goes to the exact same place when each time they do a posture in the form, that's a good thing. If somebody goes to a different place every time they do the form, for example, if the hand is here one time, 90 degrees, and here one time, and here one time, you
Hmm.
know that they don't really know it. So how can they teach you to go to the same place if they can't do it? Um,
Yes.